Alright, so typically I like to wear a shirt that correlates with what it is that I'm reviewing here in these videos, and I've been able to keep that up somewhat consistently, but on today I'm discovering that I don't have a Ninja Turtle shirt, which definitely leaves me in shock. So instead I'm going to be wearing the next best thing. Karate Kid. I guess the shirt is still kind of fitting though, because Playmates did do a collaboration for Cobra Kai, and that is a thing that exists now, so I can cut myself some slack. But with that being said, we're going to be taking a look at the NECA TMNT 4-pack, which features all 4 turtles based on their design from the 80s animated series, and I'm really looking forward to getting this one unboxed. So without further ado, let's boot up the turtle van and head down to the sewers with the Ninja Turtles.
We now return to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
NECA TMNT 4-pack, which comes with all 4 turtles front and center. We have Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo, and I'm really looking forward to getting this one unboxed because it comes with a ton of accessories, as we can see right here. We have additional head sculpts, we have weapons, gadgets, and even some pizza thrown in there with a pizza slice as well. So there's a ton of things to have going on here with these figures and just how you display them, pose them, and have them in dioramas and stuff like that. So looking forward to getting this pack unboxed a lot. I'm also glad to have this pack in my collection because of several reasons. One of them being that I haven't had Ninja Turtles in my possession since maybe, I think, 2007, because that's when they released the 3D animated movie for the Ninja Turtles. I enjoyed that movie and was able to pick up some toys from it as a kid. I remember having the Night Watcher figure for Raphael, which came with a bike. That one was a lot of fun. And then I also was able to have the Leonardo mutation figure, where basically you can have Leo in either pet turtle form or Ninja Turtle form. And I think they did the same thing with the other 3 turtles, but the one I had was Leonardo, and I did like that one a lot. So I'm glad to have some Ninja Turtles back in my collection and just seeing especially what NECA has to offer, because NECA does a great job with their figures, and I wish I reviewed more of their stuff here on the channel. It's been a year since I've last taken a look at a NECA figure, and that one was the Back to the Future Marty McFly from the first movie, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to do some more NECA reviews in the future because I really do like their stuff. This pack also does have a bit of sentimental value to me now because of the fact that this was a gift from my mom. She actually knows that I like the Ninja Turtles and also this cartoon version of the Ninja Turtles, so she wanted to surprise me with this, and I definitely was surprised a lot. I did not expect her to do this whatsoever, but it was a welcome surprise, and I'm glad that she's very supportive of this hobby and just my collecting journey and things that I do with my channel and stuff like that. So thanks to you, Mom. Huge shout out to Mama Geek Effect. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. I'm really digging the packaging for this because it plays into the theming of the party wagon from TMNT with that green shell top and then the yellow body. So I like that theme a lot for this box. You even have the TMNT logo in the center and the names of the characters on the left and right, and they're all aligned with one another. So there's Leonardo section, the names in blue, Donnie section with the name in purple, Raph section with the name in red, and then Mikey section with his name in orange. And the same sort of pattern is going on here where Leo and Donnie's section has the same characters on this side of the box art, and then the same thing goes for Raph and Mikey on this side of the box as well. So I do like that they kind of kept that organization going on for the box. It feels very professional, I guess. And then when you flip this around to the back though, that's where you get to see some more photos. You have a nice group shot of all the turtles. You have Raphael in a solo shot where he has the pizza going through his katana. And then there's a read up on the characters, which reads, after being accidentally exposed to radioactive ooze, 4 ordinary household pets are transformed into a band of wisecracking, pizza-loving, villain-dicing adolescent reptiles. Meet Leonardo, the super cool sword-wielding leader, Raphael, the hothead, hurling manholes and one-liners in rapid succession, Donatello, the brain behind the brawn, and Michelangelo, the ice cream pizza-gobbling party animal. Whether it's facing fierce enemies or saving humanity from near extinction, with the guidance of their sensei, these heroes in a half shell are always ready for straight out of the sewer action. And then it says collect them all at the bottom because that does advertise some of the other figures that they've released for this cartoon lineup for TMNT. So you have Super Bebop and Mighty Rocksteady, Muckman, Toxicity Now, and then you also have Toka and Razor as well. And then on the side, under Raph's solo shot, it does show you that you can actually swap the head tops and bottoms, because this is actually how you'll be able to get different mouth expressions and sort of eye expressions with these characters. So I do like that they included some additional ways to display, different ways your character's facial expressions are. That's a very nice touch to have for these figures. And then the cool thing that I do like a lot about NECA's stuff is that at the bottom of the box, they do show you who had involvement with these projects. So it does show you the names of the people, so who was the director, like Randy Falk and Trevor Zammit, and then the person that did the packaging, which shout out to them because I do really like the packaging for these figures. His name is Travis Hasback, and then you can see the names for all the other people that had involvement on this project. So I do like that NECA does give, attention and acknowledgement to those that do the work for them. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get these turtles out of the box so we can get into some sewer fighting action. Alright, so here we are with the turtles out of the box, and I'm really loving how these characters turned out. I think that once again, NECA Toys has done a good job of capturing the details of a character and then translating it into figure form, especially with the cartoonish style of the turtles from the 80s. It looks like they ripped it straight out of the cartoon and then turned it into an action figure, so I love that. You can see all the details and stuff, like the black lining and stuff around the neck area, the arms, even the legs and the knee pads and stuff. All has that there to provide that cartoonish look, make it kind of pop and not feel too overbearing at the same time with like cell shading and all that other stuff. It just feels simple, but at the same time captures the details the way it needs to. And so I love that. I'm probably not going to go into full detail about each and every single turtle because of the fact that the sculpting and everything is pretty much the same for each of them. The only difference obviously is going to be the colors of the, the bandana and the knee pads and stuff like that, and then the letters and stuff on their belts. But other than that, we can still get a good enough look at each of the turtles for the most part. So let's go ahead and get a closer look. First up, we have the leader of the turtle group, Leonardo, and I really love how this figure turned out all across the board. It looks like a very solid design. Same thing goes for all the other turtles because, as I stated earlier, they do use the same body sculpt, pretty much the same head sculpt, except for the fact that it's going to look slightly different with the heads because of the different mouth expressions. But other than that, it's pretty much the same all around. And I just think that the team NECA assembled to work on the sculpting and the paint job for both the figures and accessories did a fantastic job. Coming from someone who's had turtles back in 2007 and now returning to them here in 2022, like, this is a huge step up, and I'm really impressed with the quality of these figures. Taking a look at the head sculpt though, I do think that it matches the shaping of the turtles pretty well, especially if you maybe wanted to compare them to the look from the cartoon with the roundness and wideness of the mouth, the shaping of the nose, the top of the head, the bandana, and that whole sort of thing. It does look a lot similar to that, but do keep in mind that these are not meant to be the look from the cartoon. They're not meant to look 100% accurate to that whatsoever. They actually have versions that are way more accurate to that look from the cartoon, with like the darker shading of the skin when it comes to that color of green, and like the turtle shell being brown. This one is not. It's actually a darker green and everything like that. So if you want a much more accurate version of the cartoon turtles, definitely get those. Those are in 1/4 scale. The only thing is that they're gonna be quite expensive if you want to get all of them. So that's why I do like this pack. It's a great alternative to get, all the turtles all at once for like pretty much the price of one of those turtles that you would be getting in that 1/4 scale from the cartoon. So I do like this a lot for that one reason. Another detail I'm fond of when it comes to these turtles is the black lines on the bandana and other parts of the figure, like the arms, the torso, the legs. That's something that's present on each of the figures, and it helps to make it stand out and bring, some extra detail to the engraving or the etching into the skin and stuff for like the sculpting. It makes it stand out, makes it pop, and it also kind of provides that sort of cartoonish look to it, and also like a hand-drawn sort of comic look to it as well. So I do like this appearance and version of the turtles that they have going on here. And then when you look down at the belt area, you'll see some more of those lines, same of the lines going on the shell portion, like I said. And then you also have the big circular belt buckle, which has the initial for Leonardo, which is the letter L. This is something that we're going to see with all the turtles, obviously, because that's how their belts are designed in the show and in the books and stuff like that. So I do like this. And when you flip this around, you'll see some more of those lines. You'll even see a weapon holder for Leo's katanas, which is a very nice thing to have. The only issue I do have with this is that the bottom area, the clearance for that, if you're like trying to fit that in there, it's going to fit. It looks like there's not going to be an issue. But the top portion, for some reason, it looks like there isn't enough room for it to fit in there. And so I'm afraid that it may rub the paint off for one of the katanas that I'll be sliding in there, or maybe even have a bit of an issue even fitting in all the way. We'll see what happens with it. I'm hoping that won't be the case. Maybe this is just like a quality issue and just the case with my figure in particular, but I'm not sure. Looking at the rest of the shell though, I do like the shaping of it. I think that it has this nice ovalish shape to it, and I say ovalish because it's not a perfect oval. It's got a bit of a regular sort of shape to it, and so I do like that. It doesn't make it look perfect all the way, just kind of has the essence of like a turtle shell where they all kind of vary in size and how their shaping is, and so I do like that. When you look at the pattern and stuff where you have it raised up a bit for the pattern of the shell, you even have the black in between that kind of helps that stand out and differ from the very dark green shell color that they have going on here, and all of that definitely does stand out, especially with the edges of the turtle shell. And I think that the detail here is just really good, really solid, and I'm glad that, you know, they put a lot of time and effort into this. Same thing if you even look and raise up the arms, like you can see some sculpting going on there in a hard sort of plastic. There's no paint on it, but it is a very solid like one color plastic that's there. You can see a bit of the muscular details and stuff under the arms, so I do like that. And even with the arms, speaking of those, you'll see more of the muscular details there going all the way down. Same thing on the legs, and the same thing goes for the other figures and stuff that are in this pack. Setting Leo aside, we're going to move on to our next turtle, which is going to be Michelangelo. As I said earlier, I'm not going to go in depth about each of the turtles just because of the fact that they don't have that much of a difference in regards to the sculpting and everything. It's really just about color swaps and, you know, initial swaps and that sort of thing. So he does have the orange bandana, orange padding on the arms, orange padding on the legs, and then the initial swap for him is going to be the letter M for Michelangelo. One thing I will say though that I really like about this figure is the mouth that he comes with out of the packaging. It has a very happy and excited look that I think definitely fits the characteristic of Michelangelo, so I'm glad that that's what they went with in terms of presenting the figure when you take it out of the packaging and even see it in the box and stuff like that. It matches him very well. The only issue I do have with my mouth is that it doesn't stay up all the way on the left side. With like the slightest tap or even like a little bit more pressure, it doesn't stay up there. It kind of just has this gap and you have to keep adjusting it, unfortunately. And that's not the case for the right side. So I know that that just has to be some sort of quality issue or something like that. Doesn't happen with the other turtles. I don't think it's happening or anything with the other head sculpts. So that is a bit unfortunate. But other than that, it's still a really solid looking expression to have on Michelangelo. And then when you flip this around to the back, you don't have any weapon holders for his nunchucks or not even on the sides. But this is a soft plastic material for the belt. Same thing goes for all of the turtles. So you can still kind of wedge those in there in a way, which I'll show later once we look at the accessories. And I'm glad that that is the case because I feel like you would still want to have them holstered on the shell or near it or something like that, rather than just having him hold it or just having to put them off to the side when he's not using them. Setting Mikey aside though, we have our next turtle, which is going to be Donatello, and I love the expression they have going on for Donnie as well. The arched in eyes, the stern mouth, the whole determination in the look of this figure's head sculpt and with the whole facial expression right now looks pretty good, and it looks fitting for Donnie in my opinion because he has a very determined sort of stature about him, especially when he's working on his machines and that whole sort of thing. So I love this figure a lot for that look. And then of course you have the color swap once again with the bandana and the padding, so that's in a purple color. It has a very nice shade of purple. And then you also have the letter swap for his buckle, this one being D for Donatello. Flipping that around to the back though, he does actually have a weapon holder, so this is going to be for his bow staff. It has this nice loop, slides in there real easily, which we'll show that a bit later, and it also has some more of the lines and stuff going on the back of his belt, which just add more character and detail to this figure. And then last but not least, we have our final turtle, my favorite out of the four, which is going to be Raphael. I guess it kind of plays into the whole red thing because I do like red. It's my favorite color, and Raph wears red, so I guess that's part of it. But Raph is also just like a really cool character. He's definitely the one who's got like all the toughness and stuff going on for him, and he's always ready to put up a fight. So I do like his character, and the expression definitely does match his character as well, with the whole angry sort of mouth expression, the arched in eyebrows where you can tell that he's like ready to kick some butt. And then of course color swap going on once again, so red bandana, red padding for the arms, for the legs, and then the initial swap on the buckle, which does have the letter R for Raphael. And then when you flip this around to the back, he has a very similar design going on for the back of his belt, so there's no lines there. It's just like Mikey's, But like I said, soft plastic material will allow you to holster his weapons, his being the size. You can still put those in there pretty snug if you want to, attempt to do that and not just have them hold it or have to put them off to the side. There's just so many accessories here with this pack, and it's kind of overwhelming, but at the same time, I'm glad they included this much stuff because it's going to add a ton of fun to displaying your turtles and just adding a bunch of variety to how they look and how they interact and stuff like that. Starting things off though, I'm going to just kind of work from one category and on to the next. So we do have the head sculpts, which do have one additional top head for each of the turtles, one for Donatello, one for Leonardo, and you also have one for Raphael, and then another for Michelangelo. And then swapping the mouths out, as I mentioned, is actually a pretty easy process. All you have to do is just separate the head top from the mouth, set that to the side, and then once you do the same thing with the other turtle, you can swap things around and create a whole new expression, something like this, where it gives more of like a smirk look to Michelangelo rather than that very happy look that he has on him already. You can take that new head and then pop the old one off like so. You will see the ball joint right there, and then you just push that in there. Once it's on there, you're good to go. And I like this expression a lot. It does kind of work for Mikey quite well. And then you can do the same thing with all the turtles, just kind of rearrange, swap things around, and create a whole new expression for them, or maybe something quite similar to what you already see, and just give that look to a different turtle. So that's definitely a lot of fun, and I like that they added this feature. Another thing that these turtles come with a lot of are additional hands, and first off, we have this pair of hands that has the sort of flat palm look to them. They're opened up. You can see that this kind of looks like maybe they're about to give a handshake or a high five, or they're waving at someone, and then you can easily just swap these out with the hands that are already on the figure, like so. Like with any action figure for the most part, you pretty much just pop the hand out of the socket like that, and then you pop the new one in, and you're good to go. It fits pretty well, has all that rotation going on there, but this one, it has that hinge that lets you kind of tilt it backward or inward like that, which is very nice. And each of the hands have their own sort of hinge, somewhat kind of similar like this, or maybe where it's tilting upward and downward instead. So that is nice. And then the other type of expressions that we have for the hands are pretty cool too. We have some thumbs up right here, which looks nice. You can see the detail of the hand. Same thing with the other one. And you even have this one right here, which has the gripping look to it. And these are going to be awesome to use with, Raphael's size, because you can have him do that gripping thing where the blade is in between the fingers. So I do like that. And then you also have these with the pointing look to them. And I do like how these look. They have some good bit of detail. The only thing I will say is that although I know that the turtles have 3 fingers, I can't help but think that they're flipping someone off at the same time. So it is a bit funny, but I do like the detail of them. I think they did a good job with the sculpt. Of course, you can always alternate between the fingers and the hands, kind of swap them out with each of the turtles, create different sort of styles, especially once you add that with the expressions of the hands. Like, you're going to be able to have a lot of fun with how the turtles look and create your own sort of look that's unique to each turtle. The gadgets we have here are a nice selection too. We have some closed turtle communicators with the turtle shape to them. They look very nice. You can see the sculpt going all around, some nice shade of color with the green and the orange. And then looking at the top of the turtle communicator, you can see those antennas closed in there. They don't pull out. That is something that they have for the more accurate cartoon turtles that they made in 1/4 scale. So those antennas do pull out when they're closed, but it does look nice still. I like this design for them, and I think they did a good job. And then setting those down, we have my favorite sculpt for the turtle communicators, which are the ones that are opened up, and they have so much detail to them. You can see the buttons, the screens, all the knobs and stuff, even along the back of it, and then the antennas and how that has the pointed tip and the rounded tip to it. Same thing for this one. I think they did a good job with the design of this. It's definitely one of my favorite pieces to have. And then we also have the grapple, which has the turtle shell design to it, and the hooks actually pull out, which is nice. And this will be a lot of fun. You can hook it onto the side of a building, especially if you have like a diorama going on for your turtles. You can have some nice photos and stuff of them hanging from the side of a building and stuff like that. And you can also swing this around, have a bit of fun with it, some, grappling hook action, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. The string is a pretty good quality too. I'm not having any complaints when it comes to that. And then you also have this little knob at the end of it to kind of, help with holding it in the hand of a turtle. Setting that down, we also have a mutagen canister, which does look pretty cool. It's got this very flat, dark gray look to it, some painted details in black just to bring out the sort of shapes and stuff that are surrounding it. And there's a bit of sculpting going on at the top with the triangle and the 2 dots, and then the circular area there. It looks pretty nice. I do like how it has this sort of hand-drawn look to it, where it's not like perfect lines. It's got a bit of, roughness to it, so I do like that look. This pack also comes with all of the turtle weapons that we're going to need. So we have Leonardo's katanas right here. They look very nice. I love the shaping of the blade. The color of it is very nice as well. We even have Raphael's sais, as I mentioned earlier, which I do like this a lot, especially with the color of the handle and then the tip as well. Has a nice color palette going on for it. You even have Leonardo's nunchucks, which I do like this piece a lot because you can also, similar to the grapple, swing this around and have some, nunchuck action going on. The color of the chain is actually in this matte dark gray, even though it does have the silver from the wire or whatever that they use for the chain itself. And I do like that they went that extra mile to kind of paint it and keep with the theming of the sort of cartoonish, hand-painted look of everything. So I do like that. And then he also comes with an accessory that you can attach to one of the nunchucks. So all you have to do is just pull this off, and there's the little tab or the peg at the end of it that fits right into there. And then this will let you create a spinning action sort of look to it. You can see that's frozen, and then you can even spin it a bit, and it looks pretty cool. Then of course you can always stick that into the hand of the turtle. And then we also have Donatello's bow staff, which I think turned out pretty well. I think that it captured the detail of it well, but the irregular sort of look to the wood in terms of its shaping and everything, like it's got some roughness to it. It's not a perfect pole or anything like that. It's got the grains of wood. You got the black outlines highlighting where the wrap would be for the center of his staff. I just wish that they went with the white paint there as well, similar to the one they made for the 1/4 scale Donatello from the cartoon. That would have been a nice detail to have, but at the end, I guess you could kind of go and paint it yourself if you really want to have that. And then, of course, it would just add that extra bit of detail to it. But this is a really cool piece to have. The great thing about all the turtles is not only can they hold the weapons in their hands, but they can also store them on the back of their shells. So for Leonardo, what you can do is just slide his katanas in the weapon holders at the back, and then do the same thing for the other katana. It's just a bit difficult because for the top one, it doesn't have much of a clearance like how the bottom one does. So it's a bit more of a tighter fit, and you kind of have to work it in there a bit more and add a bit more force, which does kind of have me not like this as much. But nonetheless, it is still a good piece to have there, and it looks good once it's attached there, especially from the back and from the front. And then if you want, you can take the sword out of there and then have Leo hold it in his hand, and he's ready for some fighting action against Krang or Shredder or any of the other turtle foes. Donnie is no different to Leonardo because he does have a weapon holder at the back of his shell as well, and it does come with this nice loop. You can take the bow staff and then fit it right through there, push it down, and you're good to go. It looks nice at the back, and it also looks nice from the front, in my opinion. And then once you push that back out, you can easily do that, and then just put it back in his hand, and then you can have him hold it, pose with it, and all that good stuff. And it looks like a very nice mold. Like I said, I like the sculpting on his bow staff for sure. Moving over, we have Raphael, and he does use the sais, which we have right here. Like I said, I like the sculpt with these. The only thing for his shell is that he doesn't have a weapon holder or anything. So instead, what you're going to do is kind of push up on the soft plastic belt, which I like that they made this material because it makes it easier for storing the weapons. And then you can just slide it right there in that loop that you create. You're good to go. You can do the same thing on that side, or if you want to have it at the back, you can do that too. And you're good to go. You can pull it back out and then store it in his hand for him to get ready to fight. And then, like I said earlier, there is another hand that's perfect for Raph when it comes to holding his sais because it does have this nice grip where in between you can fit the blade and then just push that right inside there. And that's another way that he's known to hold them. And so I do like that they add this hand there as an option. The final turtle, Michelangelo, is also able to store his weapons on his shell too, not just his hands. You can put them in the hands like this by just having them grip, and it looks pretty good. You can also put the other bar inside his hand too, and then that works. You can create different poses with it, but if you want to store it on his shell, it's done pretty easily, similar to how we did with Raph. You just squeeze up on the belt, create a sort of loop, and then you can stick those in there pretty well once you get enough of a loop going. And then they fit there pretty nicely. You can do the same thing with another shell. And also, I do like the other piece, as I mentioned earlier, with the spinning action to it, because once you have that pole there, you can stick that into the grip of his hand and then have this nice frozen shot of the other pole spinning already, or you can even spin it yourself. And it's a lot of fun. I do like this piece a lot. Our final accessories are making me quite hungry because we have some pizza to go with our turtles. I love the sculpt of the pizza. It has a nice design to it with the shaping. You can see that there's pieces removed from it, and then you even have like all this nice color with the faded yellow, the orange, the red, and these black lines that highlight the slices of the pizza. It's not just painted on there, it's actually like sculpted into the pizza itself. So I do like that extra bit of texture that they have going on for it. The dark tan for the crust is also a nice touch. And then when you look at the top of the box, you will see two different logos, one that says Ninja Pizza and the other that says Vinny's, which is very nice. And you have the pizzas on the front of the box as well. I just wish that the pizzas were removable. It's not a big deal, but at the same time, that would have been a nice extra touch to have for this. Maybe have a peg at the bottom of the pizza pie and then have it peg into the box, and then you can remove it as you wish. That just would have been nice. But you do have a separate pizza piece, which is just one individual slice. Has a bit of a droopiness going on to it as if you were holding it and it's kind of drooping down with all the hot and melted cheese and the pepperoni hanging. I do like that a lot, and there's even a hole in that pizza piece, so if you want, you can take Raphael's sai and just stick that in there, and that is a nice touch. I do like that a lot. So the articulation of one turtle is pretty much the same for all turtles when it comes to this pack, so I'm only going to focus on one of them and show everything that it can do. When it comes to the head area, it does have a good bit of motion going on for it, like due to the way the neck joint is and that motion there and then the motion with the head combined does allow it to get a decent tilt looking upward, a decent tilt going downward, and you can also get some nice head tilts from both the left area and the right. It looks pretty nice, especially at a certain angle if you want to have them like kind of thinking of something or something like that. Like, it works. And then you also have that 360-degree spin and the ball joint for the head, and there's also some added movement to the bandana. You can tilt this upward, which I think was pretty cool, and then you can also tilt it downward. I think that's nice because you can kind of create a own sort of like frozen flow of motion in the bandana as if maybe they're moving around, leaping and jumping downward and all that other stuff. So I think it kind of works for this a lot. Moving over to the arms and that whole area of articulation, you can raise the shoulder up as high as that. Same thing with the other arm. Of course, you're going to have some 360-degree rotation in the shoulder, which is good. You have some bicep swivel. You can rotate that all the way around. You also have a single jointed elbow. I kind of wish that maybe they were double jointed just because you could get some extra motion in there, because it kind of stops like right there at like a 90-degree angle, like almost a 90-degree angle. So that is the case with it. But I guess it also kind of is prevented anyhow because of the elbow pad. So not that much of a issue for me. I think you're still able to get a decent motion in the arm with that elbow area. You also have the wrist swivel as well. And then due to how this hand is, you can, I believe, tilt this downward just a bit, kind of like that, or tilt it upward so that it is nice. And you can do the same thing with the other hand. There's also a diaphragm cut in the torso area of this turtle. So I think that that's nice. You can rotate this 360 degrees. The front of this shell is soft plastic to kind of help with rotating it and getting some tilts going with the turtle going front, and then kind of to the back, not as much to the back, but you can get that going. Some tilts to the left, some tilts to the right, as if he's kind of stretching it out before his day of battle with Krang or the Shredder. So I do like that a lot. And then looking at the leg area, that's where you have some more range of motion. These legs can do a full-on split and go all the way up like that, which I do like. And then you can do the same thing, kind of going to the front with the leg. You can get a pretty decent split with this turtle. So I do like that range of motion in the leg, and you can rotate it 360 degrees as well. Same with the other. There's also a double jointed knee to add that range of motion there. You can get him to do that. As for kicking, he can kind of get his legs up as high as that. That's kind of where it stops. Same thing for this. And then as for the foot area, you have those ankle rockers. You can rotate it from right into left or left to right, however you want to do that. Tilt it inward like this, and then tilt it outward, and then that's about it. There's no toe articulation. That's just kind of where this ends, but overall, some pretty solid movement in this turtle. And of course, if you want, I mean, you can have him get some sitting down poses. You can do the same thing with all the other turtles and just have a bunch of fun with the poses and stuff. It's not anything too crazy, but it's pretty decent for what it is that you would want to achieve with your own Ninja Turtles. So all I can say is bravo to NECA when it comes to this pack. as someone who really wanted to get some sort of Ninja Turtle figures in their collection and start that off, this was a great pack to pick up, especially when getting all 4 of the turtles, some great accessories, and just the level of detail and the paint and the sculpting and everything that went into these figures. They did a phenomenal job with it, and I'm really impressed. And it also encourages me to want to pick up more figures within this style and look of the turtles that fit with them, whether it be Splinter, April O'Neil, Casey, Shredder. Like, I want to try and get more of this stuff to add to this collection and kind of build it, because I do like the Ninja Turtles, and these look amazing, especially, like I said, from someone who hasn't had them since like 2007. I'm really impressed with the quality of these figs. Now, when it comes to any other NECA Turtle stuff, I do actually have interest in the movie stuff from the 90s movies. Those do look pretty neat, and I would like to get those at some point. I also do have some interest in a bunch of other NECA stuff like The Thing, because that's one of my favorite John Carpenter movies. It's one of my favorite horror movies, and I like a lot of his work. So I want to get my hands on The Thing for those figures. I also want to try and get some more Back to the Future stuff. I actually have 2 of them already, which are the futuristic look for Marty McFly from Back to the Future 2, and then the Doc Brown from Back to the Future 1. So those will be reviewed at some point here on the channel. With that being said, I do hope you all enjoyed this review. Let me know down in the comment section below what were your thoughts on this pack, and if you have it in your collection. Also, let me know what other turtle stuff you guys may have from NECA in your collection as well, and like, what are your thoughts on them? What are your suggestions in regards to stuff that I should kind of look into picking up for my turtle collection to build that, because I definitely am open to suggestions when it comes to that sort of stuff. As always, I do hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll catch you all later. Peace out.